Hey guys! I'm actually filming in front of my new bookshelf, or newish bookshelf. I've had it for a few months now, I think. I can't remember. Sorry you can't really see it right now because I have this light on, but you couldn't see anything without the light on. So I would just film over there with all my other bookshelves, but yeah. This camera, unless I want to keep switching batteries out of this and wait 20 minutes for each battery to charge, yeah, I kind of had to film while this thing is currently plugged in. So this is a new experience. I'm not actually sure how this is gonna turn out. I know I don't like the fact that the camera has to be so close to me because the power outlet is like not even like 2 foot from me, and it's very awkward. But moving on with today's video, I am doing the mid-year book freakout challenge. I'm pretty sure that I did this tag last year. I'm not sure if I did it the year before last. I know I've done this tag at least once, and I don't think it was this particular tag. I'll leave both of the creators' videos in the comments below just in case you want to go check them out. But I'm like 90% sure that this is different than the previous one I've done. It feels like such a long time since I've done a tag video that I'm really excited to get into this. I think the last tag that I did was actually for before the release of The Burning Maze. So it's been a little bit because I was in May and it's now July. Yeah, that's been a while. So let's just get into this. There are 15 questions. Question number 1 is best book you've read so far in 2018. Now, this I'm going to count as a standalone because of question 2, but it's going to have to be Paper Hearts by Ali Novak. This is just a really fun, cutesy contemporary. I've loved all of her books. They're so heartwarming, and I love all of them. And let me sit this down for a second because I'm pretty much done talking about it anyways, but I just want to say that this year hasn't been the best reading year. I have read very few books that I can think of off the top of my head that I've actually enjoyed. The year started out good. I read The Book Jumper, Tempest and Slaughter, Hunted by Megan Spooner, and it's like, those books were really good. But then I fell into this hole where a lot of the books I was reading, I wanted to read. I was expecting to like them, not love them, but like them, and it just didn't happen. The books were the equivalent of trash, in my opinion, and trash is anything that's like a 1 or 2 stars. And there was just so many books like that. And then I did read I have read a whole lot of manga already this year, and that makes up a lot of what I've read that wasn't trash. So in the small little grouping of books that I've actually liked, it's been hard to use a different one for each of these categories. My point to all of this is I'm just letting you guys know that I did not have a lot of books to choose from, so I kind of did my best. But the second question is best sequel that you read in 2018, which has to go to The Burning Maze by Rick Riordan. And is this like the only sequel I've actually read so far this year? No, technically you could count Paper Hearts as a sequel, and then I have read a lot of manga that can be considered sequels. Sorry about this camera quality. I'm so close that I have to squat and it's painful, so if I'm standing upright and half cut out of the frame, I'm so sorry, but squatting it burns after a while. But yes, I have done a book talk for this book. I absolutely loved it. It did make me cry at the end because of Leo, mainly the major event that happens in this book. Yes, it was sad, but I also wasn't very attached to that character, not because I didn't want to be, but because I found him very annoying in the Heroes of Olympus series. Is it the Heroes of Olympus series? What series was that? Yeah, it was the Heroes of Olympus series. But yeah, I do have a book talk for this book if you want to know my more spoilery thoughts about it and why I cried and whatnot, if you don't mind being spoiled, that is. But yeah, that's definitely my favorite sequel. Now, number 3 is a new release that you haven't read yet, but want to. Easily, that is Obsidio by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman, right? Right. This book has been out since January or February. I can't remember which. I think it's January. But I would have read this book already, but I want to read it via audiobook. So I'm waiting for my library to get the audiobook in, which they said would take 6 months. So I'm not actually probably going to be able to read this book until probably next month. And that's if I'm lucky enough that they get the audiobook in. They may not get it in after 6 months. This probably would be another book that would be like my favorite sequels, even though it's like, you can count a sequel. This is the 3rd book, so this can be counted as a sequel. Point is, this probably would be tied with The Burning Maze if I had read it, but sadly I haven't yet. Okay, number 4 is my most anticipated release for the second half of 2018. Now, all of you are probably going to expect me to say Queen of Air and Darkness, and I'm not. Even though I am really, really excited for that book, and it is one of my top 5 most anticipated releases for 2018. I almost said 2015. My most anticipated release of this year is The Darkest Star by Jennifer L. Armentrout. And that's mainly because I love the Lux series so much, and that book, I'm pretty sure it's just a standalone, but it is about one of my favorite characters from that world, Luke, who didn't really get like a lot of screen time, but I absolutely loved him so much, and I'm so excited to have a book about him. But I'm going to admit, I'm pretty sure that it's a straight relationship that's going to happen in the book, and I was hoping for a gay relationship with him. But, you know, I am going to love the book regardless because I love Jennifer Armentrout's writing style, and so far I've loved all of her books. Moving on to number 5 is my biggest disappointment, and like I said previously in this video, I have read a lot of books that just have let me down. There have been just so many books that have like an aspect of them where they could be good, but they were just, it was done poorly. Some, the writing style was just atrocious. Others, they put me in a bad mental state. So there are plenty of books that I read this year that I just have not enjoyed, and they have disappointed me immensely. But I have 2 books here that have disappointed me to the point where I almost want to give up on those authors. Actually, one, I have given up on that author. I am not reading another book of his, and that book is Two Boys Kissing by David Levithan. This, I'm not reading another book by this author ever. The only reason I still have this book right here is because there was this little part right here, I believe, that actually inspired me to write. So if I ever get in like a writing slump, I usually go back and read that. Only reason I'm keeping that book. Enough about that. Sorry, if you guys like David Levithan, that's not an attack on you. It's more like an attack on this singular book put me in such a depressive state that I had to be medicated. We're not going to talk about it anymore. I've talked about it in previous videos, update videos specifically, and on a wrap-up video, and it's just like, it put me in such a bad state that I can't read any more of his books just for personal fear that it will happen again. So the rest of his books may be spectacular, but I'm not willing to take that chance. I don't know, it makes it sound bad, and I don't want to offend anybody, but it's just, I was in such a bad state of mind that I'm scared to go into any more of his books. And that may seem wrong to a lot of people because you should give books and authors second chances, but I just can't. For my mental health, I can't. So I don't mean to offend you. I apologize if I did. It's just something that's personally, that's how I feel, and I can't change that feeling. But getting to the second book that disappointed me this year, and disappointed me a lot more than Two Boys Kissing, was Leah on the Offbeat by Becky Arasali. I love Simon vs. Homo Sapiens Agenda, so I expected to go in this and not love it because it was about Leah and I didn't really care for her character, but I was at least expecting to like the book to the degree of at least not wanting to DNF the book like less than 100 pages in. I was so ready to just sit this book down and never look at it again. But I've never DNF'd a book, and I was really hoping that it would get better because I do love Simon versus, and it didn't happen. I can't explain what went wrong with this book right now because it would just take up way too much time. If you want to know, just go read my review on Goodreads or watch my video review. I'll leave it linked in the description box below if I remember. If not, it's fairly easy to find. I haven't actually done a lot of videos this year, so you just go to my videos and it's like almost right there. Seriously, this book was so disappointing. The only reason I've actually kept this copy of the book is because it's signed, and since I did like Simon, it's like I'll keep this until I can get Simon autographed, then I'll get rid of this. I'm a book hoarder. Okay, number 6 is Biggest Surprise, and that was pretty easy. Autobiography by Christina Lauren. Kind of the contents surprised me. I was fully aware of the religious aspect of it. I just didn't know it was going to go so in depth with it. I also didn't expect for the book to be so relationship driven. Yes, I thought since it's about a boy who takes a seminar to write a book, I thought there would be a lot more aspects about just writing and his journey in writing, and while also, you know, liking this boy that's teaching the seminar, or, you know, helping with the seminar, and it didn't turn out that way. It was like that took a big back seat. It moved the story along, but it wasn't until the plot twist at the end, and I won't really call it a plot twist. It's more like a perspective change on how you're reading the book, and that really surprised me, and I loved that. But there was also a point where it's like, I want to know more about what happened after this. Can we get more? I mean, we did get like a conclusion of everything. I'm not sure if it's the final chapter or the epilogue, but this, oh yeah, it's epilogue. It's a long epilogue, but it's epilogue. I kind of feel like I just wanted like 20 more chapters of what happened after this, even though the chapters were crazy long in this book. It's just I wanted more of it. Number 7 is your favorite new author, whether it's a debut author or a new to you author. And this is definitely a new to me author, and I absolutely love it. After reading this book, Christina Lauren has definitely become my favorite authors. And yes, I said authors because this is written by 2 co-authors. And I'm not really sure what the full name on either of these girls are. It's Christina Hobbins and Laura Billings. I love the work they put into this book. I love the writing style. I couldn't tell when one author was writing and the other one. So I've actually already picked up another book by them, and I hope to be reading it soon. She's definitely one of my new favorite authors. Okay, now question 8 is newest fictional crush, and question 9 is newest favorite character. I cannot answer those because I haven't gotten new favorites yet. I haven't read a book so far this year where I've actually gotten a crush on one of the characters. No, normally that's something that happens pretty quick when I'm reading a series or a book in general, and it's just, it didn't click. Not even in the mangas, it didn't click. Newest favorite character would say Bloody Mary from the manga series, but that wasn't new because I read that last year and I loved him. I think the only new mangas, and none of them are new. So I really don't have an answer for this. I do have an answer for the next one, which is number 10, a book that made you cry. And that is Bloody Mary, specifically Volume 10. I'm not going to spoil anything because this is the final book in the series, and that is so sad. Why does it just have to be 10 volumes long? But there is so much emotional devastation in this novel, and it's just, oh my god, my heart. I bust out into tears. I actually, volume 9 and 10, I cried throughout the entire reading of those 2 books. It was just, I couldn't stop. I don't know what was wrong with me. Actually, I know what was wrong with me. It was everything that was happening in these books. Okay, I'm on question 11 now, and my camera cuts off after 20 minutes and then starts recording after like 5 seconds. So I'm sorry if anything was cut out in the last question. I was a jumbly mess, so I'm not going to redo it. I'm just going to leave whatever I said in there, and hopefully it didn't cut out anything important. Question number 11 is a book that made you happy, and that again would have to go to Paper Hearts, because anytime I read an Ali Novak book, they just fill me up with cotton candy. I feel so sugary and sweet, and that's not something that I enjoy on a normal basis, but when I'm reading a book, I absolutely love it. Question number 12 is favorite book to film adaptation that you've seen this year. I've only seen one adaptation this year, and that is the adaptation for The Death Cure. I absolutely loved it, so it would probably be on this list regardless. I haven't seen any others. I want to see Love, Simon, and I want to see like The Darkest Minds when it comes out. Love, Simon, I've read the book for. It's just I I'm not in the mood to watch a contemporary movie or romance movie, whatever you want to call it. I actually am never in the mood to watch any kind of romantic movie. I'm not saying I will never watch it, but I'm more in the mood to watch like fantasy action movies the majority of the time. But regardless, The Death Cure still would have been my favorite. Okay, question 13 is favorite video you've done so far this year. Now, I said earlier in this video, I haven't made a lot of videos this year, mainly due to a lot of computer and editing problems. I'm still having computer and editing problems, to be honest, but they have gotten a whole lot better. But out of all of the videos I made, I think my favorite one is going to be the Bloody Mary manga review I did. It's a new form of review that I'm not used to. I was just trying it out. It's something that I do want to do more on my channel. I also want to talk more about manga and anime in general on this channel because it's something I really have an interest in. If you haven't noticed by the vast amounts of Funkos and posters that I have all over my room. But yes, that was like the first video to like a lot of videos that I want to make. It's just they require a lot more planning and I'm kind of really excited about that, but at the same time it's like I'm having so many problems right now, it's even adding more anxiety onto me. So that there'll be a few months in the making, but it's like it's like a video that starts something that is going to hopefully be great. I'm not going to say it is because it may be utter trash and no one will watch it, but you know, I'm going to think positively. Okay, question 14 is most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. For this, I had to go with Flame in the Mist by Renee Ahdieh. A lot of people could probably come up with a great number of books that have beautiful covers, and so could I, but this one I think is the most beautiful I've bought so far this year. It's actually very simple and it's very pretty and I absolutely love it. Okay, now let's see. The last question is what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I forgot about that question. I have close to at least 900 books that I need to read. But I did write on here when I was making this that Ready Player One and the Darkest Minds trilogy were like at the top of my list, along with actually a lot of series like the Lunar Chronicles and Legend trilogy and the Shadow and Bone trilogy. Is that what that series is called? Grisha trilogy. It's called the Grisha trilogy. I want to read that. I want to read War Across by Marie Lu. I want to read The Cruel Prince, but I want to read Holly Black's other books first. It's like there are so many books that I really want to read and I want to finish this year because people have been raving about these books for years and I am nowhere near close to reading them in actuality. Especially since I started writing Project Valentine, I've had like zero time to read. Actually, since I've gotten Fortnite, I've even had less time to read because I'm addicted to that when I'm not writing. But that was the end of this video. I have no clue what I'm doing with my hands. Let's stop. I'm not really gonna tag anybody to do this. I'm pretty sure I was like watching a few videos and it seems like everybody has done this tag. How about I tag everyone that's subscribed to me? So all 580 of you that are subscribed to me at this point in time, you have been tagged. If you unsubscribe, you are still tagged. You were subscribed when I put this video up. But that is officially the end of this video. I am so super happy about that because I can stop squatting and I can actually go sit underneath the air condition and cool off a bit. Yay! But thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you next time. Bye!